Okay, we're recording this video on Saturday, the 26th of February 2022. It's just gone 8:08 p.m. Chicago time. Do hope you are doing well. So this video I'm going to talk about the E-mini and what I think we're going to do in the next couple of days, couple of weeks. Also going to show you my crypto charts and the 10-year bond charts. But before getting onto that, just a couple of housekeeping notes. First of all, you'll see that I'm using TradeStation 10 in this recording. I'm still trying to get used to it, but I've got it closer to what I'm used to with TradeStation 9.5. It's been pretty painless, kind of moving over, not really had any issues. Maybe one restart, but apart from that, pretty happy with the new change. So the video is going to look a little bit different, and that's because I'm using TradeStation 10. Second thing to say is finally we have got the NinjaTrader version of the Better Indicators, the latest version, coded up correctly. Apologies to all of the NinjaTrader subscribers because I released the code without checking the installer or checking the indicators. Lesson learned. To be honest, the reason I hadn't checked is I really don't like NinjaTrader, and having downloaded it and got everything kind of running on it, I still don't understand why people use NinjaTrader. But I actually don't like TradeStation 10 compared to TradeStation 9.5, so I don't know. I'm kind of stuck in the wilderness at the moment, just kind of using something that for me is not kind of optimal. But anyway, we do what we have to do, I suppose. Let's talk about the E-mini and some of these kind of charts and what we're likely to do. I'm flat at the moment. This week was just massive, huge daily ranges. I don't know if we've put in kind of 3 or 4 days where 100+ ranges kind of day after day. It's been a long time since we've kind of done that. Maybe it's 2 years ago, but it's just extraordinary the volatility that we've had, and I'm finding it very difficult. I've found no opportunities for any kind of swing trading kind of setups. I think we're in this world where we're going through some massive ranges where the opportunities are in the day trading until things kind of settle down and we can see directionally where things are going. That's kind of my operating thesis for the next couple of weeks, and just to see how the market plays out, I'll probably just be playing the E-mini day trading for the foreseeable future until some of those things kind of start to come clear. So let's start with the 15-minute E-mini chart, because I don't think we're done on the downside, and I'll explain why I think that's the case, and you can maybe kind of agree or disagree, argue with me in the comments to the video. The couple of videos ago I talked about how we needed the better momentum indicator to resolve itself on the downside. So first of all, just to say, this is the better indicators on a 15-minute E-mini chart. It's at es.d, so this is the day session only. It's at es, which means it's a continuous contract of the E-mini, and I have the multiple time frame indicators kind of side by side. On the right hand side, everything to do with price based on beta sine wave. These are the cycles in beta sine wave below the price bars, and that allows us to put dynamic support and resistance on the prices themselves. Support and resistance in white, support in red, and then we can determine trend by breaks of those support and resistance levels. Downtrends in white, uptrends in red. On the left hand side, everything to do with volume. We've got better momentum down below the price bars, which is a volume based momentum indicator, and better pro-am on the price bars themselves. Better pro-am uses the average trade size to identify professional and amateur activity. So amateurs are plotted in yellow, professionals are plotted in blue. And then we've got the exhaustion, first bullish and bearish divergent signals and flush signals from better momentum on the price bars themselves. So that's a quick run through of the charts. So a few days ago, what I was seeing was this kind of trend line up on better momentum where we were making higher lows on better momentum, and I said better momentum does not like that because better momentum is spiky. It kind of is measuring the psychology of the market, and we kind of rush from one side of the boat to the other with fear and greed. And so I was looking for a break of that trend line, which is exactly what we got at the beginning of this week, and we kind of started to sell off, and then the sell-off kind of accelerated until we had the Ukraine news, and then the market kind of bottomed after an epic decline overnight. Blue professional bars came in and we raced away. So we got some pretty decent reads to the downside here with better momentum showing a break of that trend line, another shallow line, and then on this move down we had a kind of spiky move down. So that's more characteristic of what better momentum should look like. However, the problem I have with this is we have not had capitulation volume to the downside. This is where we have these exhaustion sell signals going on here and here. They're getting the move going, okay? Usually on a lower time frame chart, we have the move finishing with a similar type of exhaustion selling, which is everybody kind of capitulating. So this is professional money getting the move going, and then professional money kind of picking it up at the new lows with an exhaustion pattern. But the problem I have, particularly with this move over the last 2 days, is we have had a massive rally from 4100 to what is almost 4400. So what is that, 300 kind of point move in 2 days or so, just extraordinary. And it's triggered, well, we had one exhaustion buy pattern here into blue professional bars. We continued down, and we've had a second exhaustion buy pattern going on there. But note, no exhaustion sell pattern here. So what this was a short covering rally. It was explosive. It shows you the amount of activity that was on the downside, and the way the last 2 days have worked out, it was just triggering stops, push after push after push. You could feel it in the market, and all you had to do was just hold on to the end of the day, because range days kind of open at one extreme and close at the other extreme, and they open on the low, and those last 2 days they closed on the high. You just needed to as soon as you were in during the day, it was a question of holding to the end of the day. Now I managed to do it on Friday. I did not manage to do it on Thursday, and I missed out on, it was I think 50 points above where I got out. I couldn't believe how much it had moved. But anyway, so in my mind, all we've done here with this activity is triggered a massive short covering rally. Probably a lot of the kind of day traders, swing traders have been pushed out of this move. I mean, it would have triggered a whole bunch of stops, and that's what was continuing the move up to the downside. A lot of that activity now is either flat or potentially has reversed and gone long. I don't think that is the right play right now. For me, I think the right play is we're going to come down and we're going to test this 4100, and that's where we're going to see an exhaustion sell signal there. So I'm quite bearish for next week to see how that plays out. Do these things kind of happen quickly? I don't know. This was a 2-day just straight up rally, so I think it's going to be maybe a lurch down on the way down to test those lows, kind of come down, and we finally figure out halfway through that move on the way down that, oh no, that was not the bottom, we're going to be testing into it, and so on, and we kind of accelerate into testing the 4100. So that would be my kind of view on what's going to happen. On better sine wave, what we've done is we've actually not broken into an uptrend. You can see all the bars, once we broke this support on the intermediate time frame, you can see all the bars are white going on here, and all we've done is we've come all the way back up. I mean, actually the last bar, I think, of the day, maybe the last 2 bars of the day, triggered us into an uptrend, because we just got above that pullback level. But in my mind, all of this activity is just still part of this kind of bigger move, continuation of the downtrend. We've overshot the resistance on the lowest time frame, which was a little pullback level, and we're being caught by the next highest time frame, which is again a pullback resistance level. Now that they're 200 points apart is unbelievable. Usually these things kind of overshoot a little bit and get caught, and then we kind of push down. But as I said, that was a short covering rally, and it just pushed and pushed. So in my mind, we then have to go pull back to end of trend on this intermediate time frame. We are still, if we do that, we are still below supports on the highest time frame. And the way these things work out, if we've overshot this support on the highest time frame, we have to go make resistance to support on that highest time frame, and then probably that's going to be the area that might hold. So whether that turn happens Monday or Tuesday, but we're going to fuss around this level until these 2 lines, the thick lines, kind of come together on the highest time frame, and it'll push down resistance to support. So I think we've still got some downside activity to be seen tomorrow, but I'm going to wait and see how it plays out. I don't think it's going to be straight away. I think it's going to be, well, I don't know. It could be straight away. We could fuss around for a day, day and a half before starting to kind of move down. So that's how I'm reading better momentum and better sine wave at the moment on the 15-minute chart. On the daily charts, though, we're starting to look for a bottom on the daily chart of the E-mini, because here we have exhaustion sell on a left shoulder and bullish divergence on a right shoulder, and that's a good reading for both of these. We've got double supports kind of in here on the low and intermediate time frame, kind of looking good, but on the highest time frame we're still got these lines on better sine wave kind of in parallel. They haven't kind of come down together. So I still think timing wise we've got some weakness to go. It's going to be super volatile, but I think there's going to be some weakness to go until we run these out, where these two lines kind of cross and come together. We finally get some resolution with more kind of supports kind of coming in here, and we find a bottom on the E-mini. NASDAQ, I mean, it's a nice little pattern with a pullback to end of trend, exhaustion, sell, bullish divergence. These are decent readings and so on. So all of that kind of looks nice for a bottoming type pattern. But again, we're still some time away before these two lines on the highest time frame cross, come together, and that dot that we're showing at the moment there is the bullish divergence dot. It's not the support from the highest time frame kind of come in. So I still think we've got some weakness to go on NASDAQ. And the Dow, again, nice little pattern, exhaustion, sell, bullish divergence right by the zero line. So then we wait for a flush pattern kind of down here, flushing out last of the sellers. We've done some nice damage to the downside, but better sine wave on that highest time frame has not kind of come together. So I think we're going to just still be super volatile with a bit of a downside bias over the next certainly week, and we'll see how this kind of starts to line up. So there we go. That's what we've got going on the equities indices charts. Here's the bonds charts, and this is using the simplified version of the indicators with the overbought and oversold kind of system plotted on. I'd look at the daily chart with an intermediate time frame kind of below that. So there's 3 460-minute bars in a daily bar of the 10-year bonds. And down here, this is starting to look interesting on bonds. We've got exhaustion, sell, bullish divergence. We've got a little family, a cluster of blue professional bars kind of come in here. The only thing that we're missing on the daily chart is an oversold condition. So we're looking for more kind of background printed in red to come in over the next few days. And then once we break the trailing stop, that'll signal a triple signal. If you look at this on the 460-minute chart, you can see we've got the exhaustion sell, but we don't have the bullish divergence yet. Yes, we have a family of blue professional bars kind of come in here at the lows. And we're oversold on these conditions. Let's see if I can, yeah, there we go. So we can kind of see that. So again, not all come together yet on the kind of intermediate time frame, the high time frame, but bonds setting up for something over the next few, or this week potentially, we'll be looking for that. Cryptos are looking pretty good, and I know this looks like a real mess on this chart, but this is the 3 ways I kind of look at the different crypto data for Bitcoin. It's the BTC USD, which is the Forex version of Bitcoin data, dollar BRTI, which is an index of Bitcoin, and then at BTC, which is the futures market. This is the one I like for Bitcoin, and we're coming down here to blue professional bars around this 35 zone, so that's kind of looking good. And what I like on both the Ethereum chart and the Bitcoin chart is we've run ourselves out nicely now into all of the downtrendy activity. After we topped above 66,000 up here, we had a beautiful little combination. It was pullback to end of trend on the highest time frame, pullback to end of trend on the lowest time frame, all coming together there, and then we broke into a downtrend. We're now cyclically kind of caught buy support on the highest time frame. We put in a nice pullback to end of trend on the lowest time frame. That I like. A trending move syncing up with a cyclical move. That's kind of good. So cycle wise, we've done the damage on the downside. We just need to start breaking into an uptrend, kind of getting above some resistance lines to break us into an uptrend. And on Ethereum, you can see a similar thing. So ETH/USD, this is nice for a little bounce. You can see here blue professional bars at the lows. They've kind of come in here. That's looking nice for an area of support where the professionals previously came in, and we've had a similar pattern here. Pullback on the highest time frame, syncing up with a pullback to end of trend on the lowest time frame. So cyclically, that's looking good for an area of support. And then with Friday's activity, we started to, or Thursday's into Friday's activity, we started to see on the tip bar charts that's pattern starting to line up. So here we go, kind of 9 on the 24th. So it's that 2 days ago, Thursday, where we had exhaustion sell, blue professional bars, bullish divergence comes in, it's oversold at that point. So on Bitcoin, we get a triple signal where we break into this. We've come into, I mean, it was a big rally from 34, 35, almost up to 40 here. We got our exhaustion pattern, blue professional bars. I mean, they're just playing those ranges from, down here to up here. I think it's like 17% move. So that's a nice little earner, and so you're going to take profits up here. We've come into oversold on better sine waves, so we're just starting to weaken, and so it's a question of when the professionals come back in. When is this going to hold? So I'm going to be looking for that as another entry point, serious entry point for this Bitcoin weakness that we've had over the last couple of months. And Ethereum, similar thing with Thursday's activity. Exhaustion sell, bullish divergence, blue professional bars. We break above the trailing stop. It's oversold here. We get a signal on the 13,500 tip bar chart of Ethereum. We break into an uptrend, and it runs pretty hard from 2350 to 2880, and then we have a little bit of trouble up here. Blue professional bars at the highs, exhaustion buy, oversold at that point, and we weakened, and we've just had a triple signal. So we're going to come back down and test into this region here, and it's a question of where the blue professional bars kind of come back in, where the oversold levels kind of come in. But we're finding this bottom now finally on Ethereum and Bitcoin. So there we go, losing my voice a little bit. Hope that is useful to you. Out of all my swing trades, flat for everything at the moment, just going to be playing it day trades for the next couple of weeks, just because I think the volatility is going to be huge, and directionally I can't see anything kind of setting up that because we have so much kind of upside and downside V reversals kind of going on. And until that volatility kind of winds down a little bit and people have taken their positions, it won't be clear as to where the next swings, broader swings in the market are going to be. So there we go. Looking forward to the open on Sunday and Monday's trade.